Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and as promised this will be the comparison video between two 1/6 scale Pinhead figures, both from the same film, Hellraiser 3 Hell on Earth. The figure on the left is made by Mezco, and the figure on the right is made by Threezero. And I have done individual reviews now on both figures. They've gone up on the channel just recently, so if you haven't seen them, you might want to watch them first before watching this one. And thank you again to Mr. Steve Rinks for sending both of these figures my way, donating them to the channel, so that I could bust out these awesome videos for you. It's been a lot of fun doing it, and this is the video I've been really excited to do. Lots of interesting stuff to talk about with the differences between these two figures. So if you enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you could thank Stephen in the comments for sending these figures my way so that I could make these videos, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you, Stephen, and I hope you and everyone else enjoys this video. Now let's talk a little bit about the price of each figure. Now they have been out for a while, and I was just looking on eBay to see how much they kind of went for. Pretty significant price difference between these two. You get this one for a lot cheaper. He was average about £110 on eBay, give or take a bit for shipping. There was even a brand new sealed one that was signed by Doug Bradley. It was still cheaper than a new one of these. That was a signed one of them, never opened, was about 212, or was it 220? There was a lot of twos in there, I forget. It's up on the screen, I'll show you the screenshots. The Threezero figure, very expensive. Definitely has gone up in value, and definitely is quite a expensive piece to pick up on eBay and places like that. So very much more affordable here with the Mezco. So something to factor in with your decision if you're going to get yourself a Hellraiser figure for your horror collection and you haven't quite decided on which one yet. But that was just a little section here about the prices. Now, as far as the accessories that the figures come with, the Mezco version comes with 1, 2, 3, 4 hands and 3 weapons, 2 of which are hanging on his belt right now, or his string, whatever you call that. So 3 weapons and the puzzle box. And the Threezero version has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hands. So 1 extra hand with the Threezero. Now that's all probably because of these 2 hands with the nails going through the stigmata for the crucifixion pose. He also comes with the same 3 weapons. However, there is a significant difference in the quality of paint between the 2 different companies' versions here. And also there is a significant difference in paint quality between the 2 puzzle boxes, and we'll get a close-up look at that now. Alright, so this is the Mezco puzzle box, and this is the Threezero mother box. I do believe out of the 2, the Mezco on the left has a more realistic paint job, more convincing paint job than the Threezero on the right. So it's left all day for me on this one. Instantly, when I saw these 2, I knew that I liked the Mezco puzzle box more than the Threezero one. But let me know your thoughts. Let me try and get the right, there you go. So there's just a big difference in the actual paint job. They're both sculpted really well. All the details seem to be there. I just much prefer the look of the paint on this one. Definitely has more of a metallic kind of finish to it. It just makes it look more real. This one's good too. You know, if I hadn't have seen this, then I'd probably be saying this is awesomely done. And it is awesomely done, but this is better. Better paint job, I think. This one right here, the Mezco. Alright, so that is the puzzle box situation. I'm going with Mezco on that one. Now, the hands, this is the Mezco hand, and this is a Threezero hand. There is a difference. The Mezco has a more kind of rough kind of texture to the skin. The Threezero hand clearly has a more kind of smooth finish, which to me doesn't quite seem right. When you get the real close-ups on Pinhead's face in the movies, he's not a smooth dude. He's quite scratchy looking, if that makes any sense. He's just got a kind of, you can see that there's paint on his face, and you know, it's all practical stuff and you got to respect the art, but you can tell that he has you know, product on his face to get him to look the way he looks. And the hands are no different because they're also covered in the makeup. So I'm just getting a really white, smooth feel here from the Threezero, and a bit more of a satisfying kind of rough, kind of chalky kind of look to the hands that Mezco provided. Also, Mezco have this kind of prominent vein action on the top of the hand. There are still veins on the Threezero. They're just not kind of painted to be highlighted as they are on the Mezco. That's pretty debatable though. You've got some blood and the dark fingernails on the Mezco here. Not too bad. I do quite like that. And on the Threezero, yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Gotta be honest, I'm kind of siding with the Mezco again on the paintwork and texture of the hands. Slightly bigger hands as well with the Threezero than the Mezco, even though obviously they're in a different position, but you can tell the Mezco hands are slightly smaller than the Threezero. Right, now taking a look at some of these weapons here. This is the Mezco version of this blade, and it has a serrated edge and some really nice weathering along the actual blade itself. This is the Threezero version of that same weapon, but it does not have a serrated edge. Nice weathering though, nice paint job on the blade and the handle. Nicely done, but I'm not sure which one of these two is the more accurate. It's interesting, but I do prefer the serrated edge look, and I do prefer this really harsh kind of dried blood slash just weathering on the blade from Mezco. So again, when it comes to the weapons, let's take a look at another two here. Again, Mezco on the left, Threezero on the right. Not much in the way of any kind of blood staining or much weathering on the Threezero version here. It's actually quite clean, still nicely done. Nice work on the handle. Nice job with the paint to make it look like it's real kind of metal, steel, whatever that is. But the Mezco version, just a lot more weathering and dried blood in places, if you can make that out. There you go. But again, I am siding with Mezco when it comes to the look of the weapons. Really, really well painted here. So Mezco again all day when it comes to the weapons. Now, I was going to skip these ones, but then I looked at them and realized they're both very different as well. So let's see. This is the Mezco one, yes. And this is the Threezero. Again, very different. Completely serrated edge. Looks way more nasty with the Mezco here. And again, that kind of dried blood with the weathering on the blade. Really nice sculpt to the kind of wooden handle from the looks of things. And then the Threezero version, only serrated to a point and then just straight. So you guys, please let me know in the comments if one of you knows which set of weapons is more accurate. I'd really like to know that. I tried looking, but I couldn't really find much. I'll try again during the course of me sitting here filming this, and I'll come back to you on it if I do find an answer. But if one of you out there knows, let me know in the comments. That'd be awesome. But yeah, again, I just would side with Mezco here. I do prefer the look of the weapons and the paintwork on the Mezco. Alright folks, now we're going to go to some rotating base footage of both figures individually. Just turning on the rotating base in darkness with a couple of LED lights, just lighting them nice and moody and atmospheric. And you can just soak up the vibe of each piece, and hopefully that will also help you make a more informed decision on which one you think looks the most accurate. So enjoy that footage now. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed the rotating footage, folks, and now let's take a look at the head sculpts and think about the likeness here. I've tried putting them right side by side against each other, but for some reason the camera will only focus on one face, like the other face, even though it's right beside it will be blurry and the other one will be in focus. So I'll do it like this, where I kind of switch them around from front to back. So let's take a look at the Mezco first. Now, as I said in the review, I think the likeness to Doug Bradley is pretty much spot on. I like the way the wrinkles, or the frown lines, the wrinkles in the forehead are more prominent, more visible, and I do like this kind of straight, soulless, kind of just staring at you non-expression. I was going to call it an expression, but he's not really doing much other than just staring into your soul, which is what I'm after when it comes to Hellraiser. I also like how there's a bit more black to the eyes. The pupils of the eyes are just kind of wider. There is still a little bit of white in the eyes in the corner, which you can just make out, but there is a very, very scary look to this one. Side profile, again, you can really see Doug Bradley there. Now, the way they went about the section with the kind of hooks that go in 3 places, one in the middle and then 2 on either side behind the ear, not too sure the way it stops here if that's accurate. Tried to find a part in the movie where I could see these clearly. It's quite tricky. And then over here with the Threezero, we've got a completely different expression. Now, I do have to mention before I forget about the size of the nails, like the proportions of the nails that are embedded all over his head. I didn't really notice it myself because I'm not really a big Hellraiser expert. Seen them in the past, pretty casual Hellraiser guy. So other folks out there spotted that the pins on the Threezero version here are more accurate. You know, they're thinner, they're the right kind of size for his head here. So, and they are really sharp to the touch. So for the folks who mentioned, including my buddy Simon Brandolino, the mask reworking master, he sent me a message. He said he watched the reviews and he prefers the nails. I think he preferred in general just this figure. And also my girlfriend, who came around today, and she spotted these straight away and said, "Oh wow, you got Pinhead." And I just picked them both up and I walked over to him and I said, "Which one do you think looks?" Before I even finished the sentence, she said, "This one." And I was like, "Really? But this one, like, it really looks like him." She said, "Yeah, but..." What was it she said now? Yeah, she liked the fact that this outfit was actually made from material, and I think even she mentioned that the pins seemed to be more in scale with him. A few other folks in the comments seem to prefer the pins on this one, so fair play to you. Can't really argue with that. They do seem to be more accurate as far as scale goes. But as far as the likeness and the expression, I definitely prefer the Mezco. And like I said, with the frown lines on the forehead there, they are sculpted in, and there's a very kind of mild kind of paint job on them there, just maybe to highlight them a little bit, but they are very subtle. But obviously a completely different expression. He just looks younger because of the lack of the highlighting of the wrinkles on the face when he's making this kind of frowning expression. Without that, to me, it just looks like a much younger, and it doesn't really look like Doug Bradley to me at all. Like I mentioned in the review, it's an excellent sculpt, and the pins are really, really well done, and I like the sneering kind of evil expression. But most importantly, the likeness. See, unfortunately, that's where it just really falls for me, because I just don't really see him. It's more like a look-alike Pinhead, you know? To me, anyway. And also the eyes, a lot more white showing on the eyes here. I did Google Pinhead and had a good look at some images, really spent some while just scrutinizing them. And to be fair, a lot of the time his eyes do look quite like this. But there was just, I can't remember which Hellraiser film it was. There was one scene where it's a close-up as he's talking to someone and he's putting the fear into them. And his eyes look more like this, just almost all black. So, even though the pins are not as accurate, a bit too thick maybe on the Mezco, the all-important factor of seeing Doug Bradley, I would choose this one personally, but I do acknowledge, obviously, like folks have mentioned, pins are more accurate scale on this one. But I'm just not really seeing Doug Bradley. I see it a lot more clearly on this one. The side profile. Also, the Threezero figure is a bit taller. As you can see, they're right in line with each other here. Mezco version, a little bit shorter than the Threezero figure. And obviously with the Threezero, you've got the very frustrating hooks that no matter what you do, they will always come undone. And this one is the biggest offender. Oh, hang on, stay in there. Go on. There we go. Don't breathe. It'll come out. But yeah, they are very fiddly, very frustrating, but once you get them in place and put them on the shelf or in your display, he will be fine. Which version looks best? The ultimate horror icons, slasher kings, whatever you want to call it. Which version looks best amongst them? So there is the Threezero version of Pinhead. And the only pose that will do, the stigmata, the crucifixion pose. Look at that, it does look sick. Alright, so now I'll switch it out to the Mezco version. And the Mezco version, but still with the Threezero box behind him. It works a lot better with that box than it would with the actual Mezco box down here. Because obviously once you take the figure out, the kind of see-through packaging is a bit kind of pointless to display. I mean, you could turn it around and display the back of the box, which is kind of pretty decent. But I would definitely stick with the Threezero box. But that's how it looks. What do you think? Now, taking a look at the outfits side by side, one is clearly more accurate than the other, and that is the Mezco figure. I've just gone and did a bit of a Google search and found some just screenshots from Hellraiser Part 3. Now, if you see these lines, this pattern, the shape that comes down here, that is how that appears in the movie. That is important because it's like the centerpiece really between his, torturous gore section here. That design is pretty prominent and quite important to the outfit, but it's not even really there on the Threezero figure. They've kind of just got this section here. You see that? But it doesn't really follow through. It doesn't connect the way it's supposed to. It's supposed to be like this. See the way those lines come up and it all, the lines meet, and then here it's just not there, and it doesn't have that same kind of texture. Obviously you can do this with sculpted all day long. You couldn't really be able to do this with a fake leather. I mean, I'm not sure how you would get this, and obviously that's the problem, but it's definitely a case that the sculpted outfit here by Mezco is a lot more accurate in design and execution. And also this section is vastly different than how it appears on the Threezero. It's a lot shorter and fatter, like a bigger gap here, and this is definitely more accurate. That was one of the other things I saw when I was looking at the pictures. It is longer and more narrow like this, and it is quite white as well. I was surprised. I thought that Mezco just did that, just a kind of boring flat white paint job there, but it does seem to be pretty true. Whereas this one, like I said, much stubbier, shorter, wider. Not how it appears in any of the images I've looked at to date. Also the arms, again, much easier to achieve that with sculpted, but that is what we've got here, and it is definitely, to my eye, more accurate. Just proportions and the shape of it, the design over here, just completely different. You see, it's just doesn't look accurate to me. Proportions obviously quite a bit different between these two, just thicker, bit of a more heavy set guy with the Threezero. But that is interesting, noticing the lack of detail in this whole section compared to the way more movie accurate look from the Mezco. And now when it comes to this kind of the skirt section, I'm just going to call it a skirt for ease. You can correct me in the comments. material, so I did tuck it down. That's why you can kind of see where it begins. Usually that was kind of up here tucked underneath the section of the outfit, so you couldn't see, but you could see his boots. You still can see his boots a little bit at the bottom, but you need this to be kind of trailing on the ground slightly, or at least touching the surface he's walking on. So originally, like I mentioned in the review, it was kind of up here. It looked a bit goofy seeing the feet sticking out, but you can kind of work with this material. It's a little bit difficult, but you can get it looking not too bad. You just don't want it poofing out too much around his kind of hips and the butt area, because it just makes him look wider, and he's already a little bit more kind of big looking than Pinhead should be, I think. So you want to try and get this tamed, you know, tame it, get it to just kind of lay flat there. Obviously totally different with the Mezco. We've got completely sculpted here, and I got to be honest, I kind of prefer that, because it just looks right, and it will always look right. You're never going to have to worry about him falling over, because it's just one big solid clumpy piece of vinyl, or plastic, whatever, vinyl, one of them. But yeah, I really do prefer the more slim, obviously, good proportions, just the shape of it looks great. So again, just my preference, I would pick this one. Just looks more visually appealing, just looks more right to me, and because of the kind of shiny black nature of his outfit, the fact that it's sculpted, it works, you know. And like I mentioned in the review, you're never going to have to worry about deterioration like you probably will with this one, but you got to be careful when it comes to these fake leather outfits. They usually tend to deteriorate all by themselves after a couple of years, few years, 5 years maybe, and then you start to notice little things here and there. So again, digging the skirt more on the Mezco. Right, now this is a bit brighter than I'd usually like, but I really want you to see what I'm talking about here. So I want to come back to the outfits again and just spotting how, see how this section he goes up, big curve, and then down again. It's literally just straight across on the Threezero version. And again, very significant inaccurate kind of shape here to this section here, where the midsection of his body is exposed. Much thinner and longer and movie accurate over here. Again, that is really significantly different. The design here coming across here, down, kind of like a downward arrow and then back up again. Just not really there at all. They've kind of got a bit of it here, but not much. I know you can't really see it there, but hopefully you can spot it in the other sections of the video. But much wider midsection here. That really bugs me when I look at it. I want this to kind of come in as it gets to this midsection, and it just, rather than go in, it actually comes out more than, it's weird. It's like shoulder in, out, and then little dip in, then the skirt out again. So you're all over the place as far as his side kind of proportions go, whereas this is way more realistic. Obviously because it's sculpted it would be, but it just is visually. But really, I mean, there's probably other things if I noticed. I haven't even looked at the back of the figure. Let's take a look and see what's going on there. I do like the way on the Threezero version here, and I don't know if you're going to be able to spot it, but there is blood splatter. I mean, it almost just looks like kind of shiny black, but I did look in the daylight and it is a very kind of dark red, but you've got blood splatter here, 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 here. I'm spotting it, just random bits of blood splatter. There's none of that on the Mezco version, but again, from the back you can see much thinner, much more realistic proportions to the Mezco, and then quite chubby looking at the back here. I don't know if you're going to be getting that. Let me take him out for a minute and just show you. Yeah, quite chubby in his midsection. I mean, it's not too bad from the side profile. He's definitely a bit more chunky than he should be. I mean, that is just undeniable when you look at it. But yeah, some really significant differences between the two outfits. Mezco, way more accurate. Just get a quick close-up on both heads. Different angles here. I'll let you decide for yourself again. Yep, those pins do seem to be pretty thick. but for some reason it just doesn't bother me. They're metal, they're all in the right spot, and they have a really nice metally shine to them when the light hits them. And I'm seeing Doug Bradley all the way. I love the wrinkles in the brow, the blank expression, the almost completely black eyes when the light hits them. Really, really terrifying. Love the side profile. It's got some subtle blues going on in certain places. It seems to anyway. There could just be some weird reflection off those pins. But yeah, do love this one. And then we'll bring in the Threezero head. Nice effect there again with the pulling of the skin at the back. But very satisfied with that one. And then here is Threezero. And again, really nice accurate pins, but totally just not seeing Doug Bradley, unfortunately. Nice work on the teeth as well. Nice paint on those. All the pins are in the right spot. Nothing seems to be bent. And at the back, nice pink kind of saw effect around the pulling of the skin at the back as well, not just white. I don't think the Mezco one had the pinkness, did it? Let's see, got the pinkness. Nope, don't see no pink. Alright. Still really cool head sculpt. There's no denying it. You know, in the right strategic dark lighting, you can definitely make it look more like Doug Bradley's Pinhead, but you know, it's clearly lacking a little bit when it comes to the likeness. But impressive all the same. There's no denying it. It's a hell of a sculpt. And it has got the more accurate pins of the two. Oh my god, as soon as he comes into frame though, it's just undeniable. That is him. You just hear him. You can just hear him just preaching about the pain. Look at that. I will have your soul. What are you talking about, man? I'm you. You're me. We're the same motherfucker. What the... Alright, so I think that's pretty much it. So I will give you my final thoughts, and you pretty much know what they are already, judging by the reviews for each individual figure. I gave Mezco a 10 out of 10, which, now that I'm a little bit more clued up about the scale of the nails in the head, maybe I would take that down to a 9.5. It's a minor thing and it doesn't bother me. Honestly, I'm quite a stickler for details, but even after finding out that the Mezco nails are a bit too chunky looking, I still prefer this overall. And we've got, like I said, a massive price difference between the two pieces. This will set you back a lot more than this will, and this is a more accurate looking Pinhead in 1/6 scale than this one. Now, when I made the reviews, I was paranoid in the back of my head thinking, because when I said these were the only two 1/6 scale Pinheads that were available officially out there at the moment, this little voice was saying, I'm sure there's a Sideshow one either coming or has been done. And it turned out that was a premium format statue by Sideshow, so that looked actually really nice, but that's a lot bigger than these, and it's a statue. This is almost a statue, but you got some movement in the arms. Watch the review for that. So a massive price difference. You can get this guy, if you're in the UK, you can get him for about £110, and it'll be £110 well spent as a horror fan, because you'll have a very accurate looking Pinhead, and I'm sure you'll be satisfied with it. This one over here goes from anything between $250 up to $400. Maybe I might be exaggerating there, but it goes for some big money, man. It's pretty expensive. Again, massive thank you for Stephen for thinking of me, man. Like, I mean, because this is no joke. It's high end collectible. It's expensive. Secondary market is kind of ridiculous with this guy, from what I've seen. So, just heightening the impact of Steve's amazing gesture. So, what else? Yeah, massive price difference. This is the better of the two as far as I'm concerned, and you can get it for a lot cheaper than you would with the one that's more inaccurate. So it's a no-brainer for me. It's a good looking figure. It can look fantastic, as you saw in the rotating showcase section of the video, just with the darkness and the figures turning on the rotating base, got him to look absolutely fantastic in certain light. But I would definitely choose this one. If you were going to give me a choice, I would go with the Mezco. So I hope you've enjoyed the Pinhead extravaganza. It's been quite epic, and it's been a lot of fun digging into a character which I needed to revisit. You know, spent a good while in my teens watching some Pinhead stuff. I hadn't revisited that character in quite some time, and when I watched a video on YouTube about the history of Pinhead and how he became Pinhead and all the pain and the pleasures that he literally wanted to experience every type of pleasure and pain, everything. And yeah, found out some stuff about what you're not seeing under the outfit as far as other things that are going on here that are causing more agony just constantly as he's moving around. Oh, don't even get me started on his private parts. But yeah, Pinhead, absolutely terrifying. And if you want to watch a video on YouTube about, it's a series of videos on a channel called how would you beat Michael Myers, how would you beat Freddy Krueger, and the one about how would you beat Pinhead, forget about it. It's way too complicated. I'd be dead. Like, he literally, yeah, watch that video. It's very interesting. So folks, again, massive thank you to Stephen, massive thank you to all of you guys out there for supporting the channel over the years and leaving me your comments and your thoughts. I always love reading those, and yeah, I hope these videos have been helpful as far as making a choice on a Pinhead figure. You know, don't get me wrong, if you do end up with the Threezero figure, if you know you find one for a good price, then I would say, you know, well done to you. It's a great looking piece, but there's quite a lot of inaccuracies going on, and I just wouldn't be able to, I couldn't look myself in the mirror if I didn't tell you about them, you know what I mean? I've got to let you know what I'm seeing, tell you the truth. It's quite shocking, actually, like how much of the detail, the outfit is not there, but I can hear you saying, yeah, but it's a material. Hey, how the hell are you going to do that on this? I hear you. It's not easy. But he was putting his arm around him. Hey, buddy, don't worry about it. I know I won, but you still. Why does he talk like, hey? I'll see you later. Take it easy. We got one more horror icon on the way in 1/6 scale. A really pretty awesome piece. I went back and forth in my mind. Should I get it? Should I not? Do I need it? Do I not? And I decided, yes, I do need him for the lineup. So he is on the way, and a few of you have guessed it. It's not too hard to figure out, but yeah, that new edition is on the way. So I look forward to bringing you videos on him as well in the near future. And take care of yourselves, guys. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Take it easy. Bye bye.